In our hyperplanned, smartphone-navigated world, when was the last time you completely let go of control? Like, really trusted the chaos of the unknown?
Oh, that's a tough one for most people today.
Right? Seriously, take a second and think about it. When did you last travel somewhere? Or even just, I don't know, walk around your own city without pulling up a map on your phone?
Or without pre-booking your dinner reservation.
Exactly. Or without having an AI translate a sign for you. I mean, we live in this era where we use technology to engineer every single drop of uncertainty and, frankly, every drop of friction out of our lives.
Yeah, it's the ultimate modern illusion, really. This idea that if we just have the right apps, the optimized itinerary, the premium gear, we can sort of conquer reality without ever having to actually feel the sharp edges of it.
The sharp edges. I like that. And that modern illusion is exactly why today's deep dive is going to feel like a shock to the system.
A total reset.
Yeah. Today, we are analyzing this incredibly fascinating piece of audio history from a project called No Signal. We're diving into episode 42 of the raw, unfiltered travel diaries of Marcy.
The Japanese backpacker.
Yes, exactly. And for context for those joining us, Marcy had already hitchhiked the entire length of Japan from Sapporo up in the snowy north all the way down to Kyushu.
Which is a huge feat on its own.
Right, and then he crossed over into South Korea. But today, he is embarking on a much more intimidating leg of the trip, a cross-Asia overland journey.
And we really have to firmly plant ourselves in the context of his world here. The year is 2001.
Oh, man, 2001.
Yeah, 2001. So that means no iPhones, no Google Maps, no Yelp, no instant translation app sitting in your pocket.
You are totally untethered. And Marcy has just left his safety net. You know, South Korea was comfortable for him. He had a friend there. They went skiing. It was nice.
Very civilized.
But now he is on a ferry crossing the sea to mainland China. He knows absolutely no one. He doesn't speak a single word of Chinese.
It's blank slate.
It is. And what we're going to explore today isn't just, a travel log. We're looking at a masterclass in a very specific philosophical theme, surrender.
Yeah, it really is a profound study in surrender. It's about giving up that deeply ingrained Western obsession with rigid planning and optimization.
Spreadsheets.
Right, the spreadsheets.
Yeah.
And embracing a more Eastern fluidity. It's about survival, serendipity, and what actually happens when you let the world happen to you, rather than trying to force the world to bend to your schedule.
So let's get right into Marcy's diary. It's past 10 p.m. The ferry is churning its way across the ocean toward the Chinese port city of Dalian.
Sounds incredibly atmospheric.
Oh, it is. The lights are out in the second-class sleeping cabin, which, by the way, is basically this massive shared tatami mat room.
Just wall-to-wall people sleeping.
Yeah, and it's quiet time. But Marcy is awake. He's sitting out in the dimly lit lobby of the ferry, reading under this solitary light. And you can hear the anxiety in his audio recordings. This is his first truly solo border crossing into a place that feels vast and, quite frankly, impenetrable to him at this point.
He's hovering right over the abyss of the unknown there. I mean, the comfort of the known world is fading behind him, and mainland China is just waiting in the dark ahead. It's a very vulnerable, liminal space.
Liminal, yeah. And then, out of the shadows of this ferry lobby, a stranger approaches.
Enter Mr. Wang.
Enter Mr. Wang, a guy who introduces himself as, well, Mr. Wang, a Taiwanese trader, and he communicates with Marcy in this wild, chaotic patchwork of broken Japanese, broken English, and Mandarin.
Which, is a classic phenomenon in global transit. When you're a multilingual trader out in the wild and you spot someone from a country whose language you speak, even poorly, you gravitate toward.
It's like finding a raft.
Exactly. It's an absolute instinct to find a familiar anchor in such an isolating environment.
Right, and Mr. Wang's background is so fascinating. According to Marcy's logs, Wang imports Korean seaweed and sells it in Tokyo's Ameoko market.
Oh, Mayoko. That's a serious place.
For those who don't know, yeah, Ameoko started as a chaotic post-WWII black market in Tokyo, and it evolved into this incredibly vibrant, dense, open-air bazaar.
So right away, we know Mr. Wang is a survivor.
A total hustler.
Yeah, he navigates borders, tariffs, and street-level commerce for a living. This is a guy who knows how the world actually works.
He does. And during their chat, Wang casually mentions that after arriving in Dalian, he's planning to take a train to Beijing.
And this is the critical moment. because Marcy is internally panicking about how to navigate China alone, and his ultimate goal is also Beijing.
Now, I want to pause here because if I am in Marcy's shoes in 2001 and I am terrified of the logistics, I am instantly grabbing onto this guy like a life raft.
Oh, absolutely.
I'm saying, please, Mr. Wang, I have no idea how to buy a train ticket in China. Can I please just follow you?
He's begging for help.
Literally begging. But Marcy doesn't do that. He plays this bizarre game of social chess.
He exercises a very specific, culturally nuanced kind of restraint.
He plays it so cool. He uses what I can only describe as like a romantic dating strategy on this middle-aged seaweed trader.
A dating strategy. That's a great way to put it.
He does. Marcy just casually drops a hint. He goes, oh, Beijing, what a coincidence. I'm actually heading to Beijing myself. Maybe we'll bump into each other at the train station.
Playing hard to get.
Totally playing hard to get. He uses the make them chase you tactic, and Mr. Wang immediately takes the bait and says, what? Well, let's just go together.
It's amazing.
But why do you think Marcy takes this indirect route instead of just asking for help? It seems so counterintuitive when you're desperate.
Well, it might seem counterintuitive to a Western mindset, where directness is so highly valued. But Marcy is operating on a totally different social frequency here.
How so?
By merely suggesting a coincidence, he allows Mr. Wang to be the one to extend the invitation.
Ah.
And this preserves Marcy's dignity, sure, but more importantly, it elevates Mr. Wang's status.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, Wang gets to play the generous host and protector, rather than being burdened by some needy tourist. It's brilliant social engineering, really.
So he's letting go of his pride in a way.
Yes. Marcy is giving up the ego of being the lone, independent traveler and actively hitching his wagon to a stranger to survive. But he does it by surrendering to the social flow rather than forcing a request.
Wow. And this entire social maneuver on the ferry buys Marcy a ticket into Wang's inner circle.
But he has no idea what that inner circle actually looks like.
None at all. Not until the sun comes up. The next morning, as they prepare to disembark, Marcy finally meets Mr. Wang's quote-unquote traveling companions.
And this is where the reality of surrendering control really starts to manifest in highly unpredictable ways.
Because Marcy thinks he's just tagging along with a savvy solo businessman. Instead, Mr. Wang introduces his wife, his 2 elementary school-aged daughters, and, inexplicably,
His part is so good.
a large, older French woman.
A French expatriate who apparently just lives in Dalian.
It is a wildly unexpected, sitcom cast of character. You have the Japanese backpacker, the Taiwanese seaweed trader, his family, and a French expat. And Marcy has just bound his fate to this group.
And that eclectic group is about to walk into an environment that defies every single expectation a Japanese backpacker or, a Western tourist might have.
Seriously. So it's noon. The ferry docks at the port of Dalian. Marcy walks into the immigration and customs area expecting to see, normal tourists with rolling suitcases.
Right, the usual duty-free bags.
Exactly. But what he encounters is an army of Chinese merchants. And they aren't carrying suitcases. They are operating massive, heavy-duty, flatbed handcarts made of wood and metal.
And they are stacked.
Stacked 10 feet high with goods. Marcy describes them as looking like something out of a historical drama.
To really understand this scene, we have to look at the microeconomics of early 2000s Sino-Japanese trade.
Okay, tell me.
Why are people pushing wooden handcarts through passenger immigration? It's all because of arbitrage.
Arbitrage.
Yeah, these merchants figured out that paying official maritime commercial cargo tariffs was wildly expensive.
Yeah.
So they skirt the system. They buy Japanese electronics or Korean consumer goods, purchase a super cheap passenger ferry ticket, and physically haul mountains of inventory as quote-unquote personal luggage.
That is insane. The sheer entrepreneurial willpower is staggering.
They are essentially operating as one-person maritime cargo ships.
And hundreds of these merchants with these impossibly huge carts are all trying to get through the immigration checkpoint at the exact same time.
A total bottleneck.
And this is where Marcy experiences what his diary calls his baptism into China, because there is no concept of a line.
Not in the way you or I or Marcy would understand it anyway. And this brings up a fascinating sociological divergence regarding space and resources.
Yeah.
Think about it. In the West, or in Japan, a queue is a sacred social contract. You stand behind the person in front of you, you leave a polite pocket of air between your body and theirs, and you wait your turn.
But applying that polite pocket of air rule in Dalian in 2001 is a recipe for getting swallowed alive.
Oh, you'd never move.
Marcy notes that if you leave even a 1-inch gap in front of you, someone instantly materializes from the right, the left, or even over your shoulder to fill it.
You have to view this through the lens of resource scarcity and hypergrowth. In a rapidly modernizing nation with over 1 billion people, competition for space, for resources, and for forward momentum is incredibly fierce.
If you do not push, you do not move forward.
Exactly. The Western polite cue simply doesn't compute in an environment where hesitation literally equals being left behind.
So it becomes pure physical survival. And here is a specific detail from Marcy's audio that blew my mind. He is wearing his heavy backpack, and he gets trapped right in front of this older woman who is pushing one of those massive flatbed hand carts.
Right, the 10-foot tall ones.
Yeah, the pile of goods on her cart is so high she can't even see over it. So because she can't see and the crowd behind her is surging forward, she just continuously rams the front of her cart into Marcy's back.
It's just brutal. And he can't turn around and complain because the ambient noise is deafening.
He wouldn't even be heard.
Right, and even if she heard him, the physics of the crowd behind her wouldn't allow her to stop anyway.
Exactly. So Marcy has to physically brace his legs, pushing back against this heavy cart with his spine, while simultaneously shoving his own body weight against the person in front of him, just to keep from being trampled.
He essentially becomes a structural load-bearing pillar in this crush of humanity.
A human shock absorber.
I really want you, the listener, to pause and reflect on this for a second. Think about the mild anxiety you feel when someone just stands a little too close to you in line at the grocery store.
Oh, I hate that.
Right, now magnify that by 1,000. Add heavy wooden carts, remove the concept of personal space entirely, and put yourself in a foreign country. The immediate instinct is resistance.
You want to fight back.
Exactly. It's to get angry, to assert your cultural rules, to yell, hey, wait your turn.
Which in this crowd would be like yelling at a tidal wave.
Precisely. Resistance would just exhaust you and probably get you seriously hurt. The only way to survive this baptism is a complete death of the cultural ego.
Death of the ego.
You have to let go of your expectations, stop resisting, and physically surrender to the flow of the crowd. You have to accept that your rules do not apply here. And once Marcy accepts that, he survives.
He does. He makes it through customs, he meets back up with the entourage, and they head into the city of Dalian. But here's where Marcy's surrender gets tested on a completely different front.
Oh, right.
The itinerary.
The great modern travel obsession, the sacred itinerary.
So sacred. Marcy originally had a plan. He had his guidebook. He wanted to spend a few days in Dalian, see the architecture, walk the squares, do the classic backpacker tourist thing.
Check the boxes.
Check the boxes. But because he surrendered his autonomy to Mr. Wang to survive the logistics at the port, his grand tourist plans instantly vanish. Mr. Wang announces they are getting on a train to Beijing that very night.
It's the ultimate anti-itinerary.
Now, I have to push back a little here on behalf of anyone listening who loves a good spreadsheet. I get the philosophy of surrender, but if I have limited time in a foreign country and I abandon my plans just to follow a stranger, aren't I risking missing out on the culture?
It's a valid concern.
Right. Like, I might just end up sitting in a random hotel lobby all day. That sounds less like spiritual surrender and more like a ruined, very expensive vacation.
That is exactly the modern fear, though. We equate a lack of optimization with failure.
Right.
We treat travel like a checklist where we must extract maximum value per hour. But Marcy's diary shows the profound reward of abandoning that mindset. Think about what happens when he lets go of the guidebook.
Well, because they have a few hours to kill before the night train, they don't go to a museum. Marcy ends up sitting in the living room of that French expat woman.
So random.
In this massive Chinese port city, he is suddenly drinking tea on a sofa with a French woman, a Taiwanese trader, and his kids. And then she takes them to her favorite, hidden, hyper-local neighborhood restaurant for dinner.
And that, right there, is the counter-argument to the spreadsheet vacation. Marcy skipped the famous landmarks. But in exchange, he got an incredibly surreal, unbookable human experience.
Unbookable. I love that.
You cannot go online and book a tour that says, drink tea in a French expat's living room and eat where she eats.
Definitely not on TripAdvisor.
No. When you stop forcing the world to meet your rigid expectations, the world often hands you an experience far stranger and richer than anything you could have scheduled.
Unbookable human experiences. But, as Marcy quickly learns, the universe always demands a toll for these unbookable experiences.
The bill comes due.
The bill comes due, and it comes due at 9 p.m. when the group heads to the Dalian train station.
The journey to Beijing begins.
They arrive at the station, Mr. Wang goes to buy the tickets, and they hit a massive wall. The sleeper cars, the ones with actual beds where you can rest on a 12-hour overnight journey, are completely sold out.
The illusion of comfort just shatters completely.
Gone. They are forced to buy tickets for the second or third class hard seats. Now, based on Marcy's audio, let's establish what a hard seat on a 2001 Chinese night train actually entails.
The grim.
Marcy compares the vibe to post-World War II repatriation trains in Japan.
And that comparison speaks volumes, right? It implies something chaotic, overflowing with humanity, and deeply, deeply raw.
It is entirely raw. This is not a sleek, modern bullet train. It's an old, heavy, drafty machine. The windows don't seal properly, so the freezing winter air is just whistling through the gaps directly into the cabin.
You can just feel the chill.
And the train is packed far beyond capacity. People aren't just in the seats. They are standing shoulder to shoulder in the aisles. And again, it's 2001. Everyone is smoking freely.
So you have a dense fog of tobacco smoke, freezing drafts, and the press of hundreds of bodies.
And they're trapped in this metal tube until morning. Mr. Wang's two little girls have to huddle together, literally wrapping around each other just to generate enough body heat to survive the draft.
Oh.
The French woman, who is clearly a seasoned veteran of this chaos, brought heavy, thick blankets with her.
She knew what was coming.
She totally knew. But Marcy is forced to survive this freezing, smoky, exhausting night, relying on absolutely nothing but the winter jacket he brought with him from Hokkaido.
Just the jacket.
Just the jacket. He has to sit rigidly in this hard seat, freezing, breathing in secondhand smoke, getting bumped by people standing in the aisles for hours and hours.
This scene is so crucial because it emphasizes the intense, raw physicality of travel in this era. Think about how we handle discomfort today. If we get on a train and it's a little noisy or the temperature's slightly off, what do?
We put on our noise-canceling headphones, we pull down a sleep mask, and we watch a downloaded movie on our tablets.
Yeah.
We completely disconnect from our physical surroundings.
Right. We create portable sensory deprivation tanks. We engineer the environment away. But Marcy couldn't put on headphones. He couldn't retreat into a screen. He was forced to be intensely present in the discomfort. The cold biting in his skin, the smell of the smoke, the rhythmic clack of the train tracks, the physical weight of the people around him. It is grueling, yes, but philosophically it is also deeply grounded.
Okay, I have to challenge that. Grounding.
Yes,
It
grounding.
sounds like torture. Are we just slapping a noble philosophical label on a miserable travel condition? I mean, if I'm freezing on a train for 12 hours, I am not achieving Zen enlightenment. I'm just miserable. Is Marcy actually experiencing profound presence, or is this just survival rationalization?
It's a very fair pushback. And in the moment, it is absolutely miserable. But there is a concept in psychology and somatic therapy about how intense physical sensation forces you out of your cognitive loops and directly into your body.
Out of your head into your body.
Exactly. When you are shivering in a hard seat surrounded by strangers in the middle of the night, you are not worrying about your emails. You are not stressing about your 5-year plan. You are reduced to the absolute undeniable present moment.
That makes sense.
It burns away all your superficial anxieties because your body is demanding your full attention. The suffering becomes an anchor to reality. It's the sheer contrast that makes the warmth of the morning sun feel like a literal miracle rather than just another Tuesday.
It really is about being forced to participate in reality rather than just, spectating it from a distance.
Exactly.
And I suppose that is the ultimate test of the theme we've been tracking. Can you surrender not just to the fun serendipity of tea with a French expat, but to the physical endurance of the freezing night train?
You can't selectively surrender only to the pleasant surprises. True fluidity means accepting the friction too.
And the friction is exactly where we have to leave Marcy for today. He is currently shivering in his Hokkaido jacket, surrounded by smoke and strangers, hurtling through the pitch-black Chinese night toward Beijing.
It's a cliffhanger.
It's a grueling test of endurance, and it perfectly sets the stage for the next leg of his Asian overland journey, which we will dive into next time.
He is right in the middle of his dark night of the soul.
He really is. So as we wrap up this deep dive, I want to circle back to the question I asked you at the very start. In your hyperplanned, smartphone-navigated world, when was the last time you truly let go of control?
It's a question we desperately need to ask ourselves. In our quest to eliminate every ounce of friction, discomfort, and uncertainty from our daily lives, what vital human connections, like a seaweed trader who might change the course of your journey, are we accidentally filtering out?
It's something to seriously chew on. And I want to leave you with one final thought to mull over. Psychologists talk about a phenomenon called rosy retrospection.
Oh, that's fascinating.
It's a cognitive bias where our brains eventually edit out the physical pain or the mundane misery of a past event, leaving only the vivid, profound memory of the adventure and the survival.
Right, forgetting the bad, keeping the epic.
Exactly. It's why people look back fondly on terrible camping trips or grueling marathons. When we use our phones and our premium services to constantly engineer the discomfort out of our modern lives, we aren't just making ourselves comfortable in the present. We might actually be robbing our future selves of those deeply encoded, profound memories.
That is a chilling thought.
So here's a challenge for you today, just for today. Try leaving your phone in your pocket when you walk into a store, or when you take the train, or when you get slightly lost in your own city. Don't immediately seek the digital solution. Let a little bit of chaotic, unfiltered, frictional reality back in. You might just be surprised by who or what you bump into. We'll see you on the next deep dive.